mentioned, I'm Alistair Kuechel. Before I start, I just want to thank Holly and Matthew for their excellent papers this afternoon. I think what they've really brought home with their papers are the problems we face in society in terms of social inequality. And when I say we face them, I'm really thinking in terms of us all in here, in this room today, all the different hats that we're wearing. So we are here as social researchers, we are here as policymakers, we're here as journalists, but we're also here as wider stakeholders in society. And I think, as you said earlier, Matt, regardless of your political persuasion, I think we all want to see social inequality reduced. Oops, I'm actually going to go straight on to that, sorry. There's a sneak preview of what I'm about to talk about. I'm going to hold that thought for a second. Here at IFF, we've got a bit of a unique position. So I head up the financial services commercial sector, and it's really, really closely aligned with our regulatory sector that conducts social research. And when I say closely aligned, all the researchers there work across both sectors, including myself. And today seemed a really, really good opportunity to approach the overarching title of the seminar, Social Inequality, from a financial angle and bring our experience of both sectors to the forefront. So really I want to start with this question, which is the one I was going to click up and now you've seen. Is financial capability connected to social inequality? Or to put it another way, are people with lower levels of financial confidence more likely to face detrimental outcomes in terms of social inequality? Well, I want to start with a definition. What is financial capability? I've got the definition up there. It's the ability to manage money well, both on a day-to-day basis and through significant life events. But I think when we think in terms of financial capability, it's more than just a standard definition. I think it's a mindset. It's about feeling confident. It's about knowing where to go for help. It's about feeling confident about what to do. It's more than just this definition. And what I'm showing up here, a few stats. These are actually from the Money Advice Service and the UK Financial Capability Strategy. 4 in 10 of us can't manage our money. 6 million working age people have less than £300 in savings. 8 million of us are in serious debt. 1 in 5 cannot read the balance on bank statements, and close to 1 in 4 of us record credit cards or use high-cost short-term credit. So not necessarily a pretty picture there. What I would like to say is there's no one unifying study showing that people in this situation will face detrimental outcomes. But I want to take a step back and think in terms of behaviours and who are the types of people who experience these problems. I think as social researchers, we often use behavioural frameworks to understand decision making and the problems that people face. So that's understanding kind of peers, wider environment, and all those things that go on there. And one of the questions, some rhetorical questions I like to throw out there, are people kind of in this situation, are they more likely to be switching around and looking for the best financial products and services that meet their needs? Are they more likely to be finding the most appropriate financial products and services to meet their needs? And are they more likely to be over indebted, not being able to meet their day-to-day commitments? And I think the answer to those questions is no, and yes, respectively. And there's a number of behaviours behind that. I think in terms of behavioural context, we have the self-fulfilling prophecy. So if people are less confident with money, I don't know what to do. They don't feel confident making decisions. I think there's the ostrich effect as well, which is fairly self-explanatory. Some of us may feel like that in this room, where it gets too much, you just want to bury your head in the sand and not deal with it. And I think we also see something called the anchoring bias at play here, and this is where people go to the first source of advice and guidance they see, they latch onto, but will it necessarily be the most appropriate source of advice for guidance? So I think what I'm trying to say here is that people face it in this situation. It's not necessarily a positive outlook, and they may be more likely to face detrimental outcomes. Now, I think we can go further than that, actually, and I think the whole situation's been exacerbated by what's called the poverty premium. So again, for the definition of what the poverty premium is up there. So that's the idea that people on lower incomes are paying more for essential products and services. And I think when you just read that back to yourself, that sounds inherently unfair, probably because it is. And I'm referencing some research here that the University of Bristol did in 2016, where they looked to quantify what is the actual cost of the property premium to people on lower incomes, and they actually estimated it to be £490 a year. And just having a look through some of the things that were included on that, fuel tariffs accounted for the majority of that, up to £233. So this is not necessarily having the most appropriate deal from your utilities providers. Method of payment costing people £33. That's an interesting one. So that's whether you're paying by direct debit. If you don't have a bank account, can you be paying by direct debit? You may be penalised for that. I think also in terms of financial insurance, in financial services, there's the insurance aspect. It can be cheaper if you can, in terms of your car insurance, you can pay for it up front. But if you spread the cost over a period of 12 months, you're paying interest. It's costing you more. Paperless billing, that's potentially a lot of people in this room might take for granted, where you tick the box, you no longer receive the paper bills, get a PDF, save it to your desktop. If you don't have access to a computer printer at home, you might not be going down that option, potentially costing you up to 12 months. Going the wrong way. Here we go. You're getting a sneak preview of what's coming. Premiums related to where you live as well, obviously, thinking particularly in terms of insurance there, and thinking in terms of social inequality, you're living in a particular area, potentially you're paying more for the premiums of living there. So hopefully what's coming across is we potentially have a bit of a problem here. People with lower levels of financial capability are more likely to be being trapped by the poverty premium. It's not necessarily going to lead to good outcomes. So what can we do about it? And I think there's three ways of looking at this, and also talk about the role evidence plays within that. First of all, there's the UK Financial Capability Strategy. So I'm not sure how familiar you all are with that, but that's something that the backbone of that is provided by the Money Advice Service. It's a strategy that was launched in 2015, and it's a real collective of employers, charities, government, as I mentioned, Money Advice Services, business and employers, all looking to work together to improve levels of financial capability, to address some of the problems that I've been talking about. And through that strategy, they are introducing lots and lots of innovative trials and pilots to try and test new interventions to improve financial capability. Now, if you do go onto their website, they've got a really, really valuable evidence hub where you can look at studies and evaluations published to date and see what the impact of some of these interventions has been. Here at IFF, we've had some involvement in some of those interventions. To give you an idea of the range of them, there was one that was recently published, Talk, Learn, Do, which was an intervention among parents of young children to try and encourage parents to talk to their children from a really young age about money, as young as 3. I've also done some work with the Institute of Employment Studies, where they were trialling workplace interventions, getting employers to discuss financial issues with their employees, again with the aim of improving financial capability. And I mentioned at the beginning, I am the head of our financial services commercial sector offering here at IFF. And it's fair to say over the last 12 months, from the briefs that we see from financial service, commercial financial service providers, they're definitely paying more attention to financial capability. We're seeing that referenced more and more in the briefs that we see. And they're also talking about looking to improve consumer outcomes. So I think that's evidence that what the UK financial capability strategy is doing is permeating through the commercial landscape as well. There is also obviously a role of regulators. I think we've got some representatives here. We've got the Financial Conduct Authority, Competition and Markets Authority. So if markets aren't functioning well and there's a lack of price competition, there is a role for regulators to step in and introduce remedial measures to the market. In the financial services context, I guess the one that really stands to mind is the Retail Banking Review. I did note in the CMA annual plan as well, 2017-18, that they're referencing measures that protect and empower the vulnerable and the disengaged. That's addressing some of the problems that I've been talking about. So the regulators have a role to play in introducing remedies to the market. But I think what we're also seeing is the market itself reacting, and I think regulatory intervention remedies can only take you so far. So with the example of the Retail Banking Review, making it, encouraging it and making it easier for people to switch, that will only work if people engage with the products and services they're getting. They need to take that step to help them switch. what I think we are seeing is the market reacting as well, with offering new products and services that can help people. And over the last few years, I don't know if you've heard about digital banks and kind of disruptors. There's a whole new suite of challenger banks and financial service providers coming to market with new and innovative products, and I think they have some role to play in addressing some of the problems that we've been talking about. So at IFF, we've actually, over the course of the year, we've recruited our own community of people who are using these new digital financial service providers. They're primarily in the digital space, which is possibly raises questions in terms of accessibility. And over the last year, we've conducted a number of research studies with online diary exercises, pop-up communities. We've looked to conduct or create a qualitative segmentation of who is most likely to be using these digital providers. And in some ways, it's who you might expect. So we've got Adam over here, the early adopter, who's got a beard that's more fashionable than mine, and you'll probably find him walking around in Hoxton. So he's an early adopter. He just wants to be ahead of the game in terms of using this. Over here on your left, we've got Mel, the challenger, an ethical warrior. She wants a bank that has more ethical considerations. But who I really wanted to draw your attention to today is Susie, who we've got the budget sheet master. And look what's motivating her to use these new digital challenger banks. It's the ability to budget and control and keep track of what she spends. If you then think back to a number of the interventions that are being introduced through the financial capability strategy, they're often about encouraging people to budget and control to improve financial capability. So here we have somebody who is using these challenger banks for that particular reason. And we also have Ella, Generation Z, the next generation of financial service consumers. She wants a bank that speaks her language and can engage with her. She doesn't feel the traditional players are doing that. And again, I think if we're thinking longer term, we have people who are not engaging with financial service providers. Here we have a generation who is being engaged by some of these new products that come into market. I wanted to wrap up with a final case study. A couple of my colleagues are working with a company called Pocket, who nicely fits into this category, and I think they're here today. I'll probably tell you more about motor drinks and nibbles afterwards, but they were founded 4 years ago on the principle of financial inclusion, and they're committed to eradicating the problems associated with financial provision, being out of control. We're here to help. So you can see immediately this is looking to address some of the problems I've been speaking about. In terms of the product, it's a very simple and transparent offering. There's no credit checks, there's simple onboarding. It's giving financial service provision for those who might not necessarily be able to get it from the current banks. What I really wanted to show you is over the next few months, my colleagues will be working with Pocket to evaluate how successful the product is in terms of its overall outcomes. So what I wanted to flash up here was the theory of change that Pocket developed and we helped refine earlier in the year. Do not worry, I'm not going to read out every single box on there, or expect you to read every single box on there, they're very small. But what I really wanted to draw your attention to is what this product is aiming to do in terms of the outcomes and the impact. And you can see it's aiming to improve financial position, help people better manage their day-to-day money, greater knowledge and understanding, help people become more financially confident, and increase resilience to financial shocks. So this is really closely aligned with the financial capability strategy. And that's what this product is looking to do. So I've rattled through quite a lot there. I wanted to bring it back to this question, which I think ties in with the overall theme of the seminar. Can we use research to reduce social inequality? I'd say we definitely can. If we are all in agreement, there is a problem here in terms of financial capability, the poverty premium. And hopefully the things I've talked through in terms of how those are being addressed make sense. They all have one thing in common. They all are underpinned by high quality, robust research. So if we go back to the financial capability strategy, that's all grounded in robust evaluation and using theories of change to demonstrate that these interventions and innovations can improve financial capability. I talked about the regulators. Now, in order to make interventions within the market, they need robust evidence from research organisations to be able to, as one part of the jigsaw in terms of making those. And financial providers themselves, as we're seeing through our commercial work, it's becoming more and more important for them to use primary research to improve consumer outcomes and help develop their product offering. So that's how I think research can reduce social inequality. Now, I'm also aware that it's only one way of doing it. It's not the complete solution, but I think what it does show, I said at the beginning, we're all policymakers, social researchers, and journalists who can report this. This can help us reduce social inequality in society. So I've enjoyed talking that all through. Looking forward to discussing further with questions and drinks in the bottom bit. I'm Alistair Kuechel. Thank you very much.